Hello, everyone. It's your favorite cartoon friend. It's me, the Enlightened One, and welcome to another exciting episode of Wrestling with the Paranormal. I'm just gonna give my buddy a call here. Find out what's wrong with the phone. What the hell's wrong with the phone? This isn't right. What the hell? I don't know what the show's about. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Oh, I got a text. This story is about Travis Walton, the most famous alien abduction. I got a bone to pick with you later, Liam.
So let me just get this straight. So apparently it's rude now to not answer the Enlightened One?
Yeah, he's got a bone to pick with you.
I'm actually really scared because that's never a good thing. Last time we actually spoke, he threatened to take my knees out, so I'm kind of scared.
Well, he told you he loved you last time, so...
That is true, but you know, the good thing as well is actually that guy, obviously next to the Enlightened One, he seems to have learned how to text.
I guess he's better texting than...
I mean, what can we say?
Yeah. So, I'm, of course, the patron saint of all of professional wrestling. I am that gingered up, bubbly, paranormal son of a bitch. I'm Canada Dry, damn it. It goes down smooth.
Does it?
It does.
And I am, of course, the Magician, and this is the only paranormal show made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans.
Yes, and we are wrestling fans, aren't we?
Of course we are.
What do we have on the show today, Liam?
Well, we obviously have our favourite, the Vault. We've got, I don't know what we've got in there this week. I think we're not running out of things there. There's absolutely jam-packed there, I believe.
Yeah, we got some good paranormal videos in there.
Of course.
Today we're talking about Travis Walton.
That's correct. Now, this is, you probably know more about this story than me, but this is one of the world's most famous alien abduction stories.
Yes, they made that the Hollywood movie in the 90s, Fire in the Sky.
Ooh, have you actually seen the movie? I've not seen it.
I have. I've seen it way back when, but I've been buffing up on more of the less sensationalized part of the story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, and obviously we've also got the Galaxy News where apparently I've been speaking to obviously all the management and they've said, look, we're going to entrust you again, obviously, with the flying, so hopefully you're not going to let us down.
But that's exciting. They're going to let you fly.
I mean, you, not me.
Oh, I'm flying. Do you want to fly? Do you want to fly today? I'll just kind of make sure you do okay.
I mean, you can do. I mean, I don't know.
I'll let you steer the plane, big guy. You've earned it.
Okay. So how's the week been, by the way?
Oh, it's been good. How about you?
It's been let's say a weird week. I'll just say that. You know what I mean? It's been
we have those weird weeks every once in a while. Yes. But let's get into the thing where we get out our Ovaltine and crack the code.
It's time for the Vault.
It looks like it's time to open up the vault.
Do you know the combination? Now, we've got obviously 4 people watching, so if anybody's in the comments, what is the passcode for the Vault?
Who we got? Noob on there. We got Joseph Graham and some random person.
So Noob says, me, I've been binge watching on Netflix. That is Gran Torino, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
And then, of course, Joseph Graham, as always. So we got nice
You
little
know,
range.
they don't know the password. I don't understand why they don't know the password.
No, so you've got until the end of this segment to try and remember what the password is. So for people obviously listening, this is a part of the show where we take a deep dive into our vault. There could be absolutely anything there. Could be crisp. Oh no, that's the fridge. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here. So what's in the vault this week?
All right, let me just look. What the heck is? You know when you feel something, you're trying to figure out what it... Oh, I know what that is. That's frozen hot dogs. Never mind. All right, here we got this.
What?
Okay, watch this video.
A woman's pressing her face against a mirror. Whoa, what the hell?
So something in the mirror does something different than she's doing. And there's a little sinister look on her face, too.
That is weird. So the one obviously on the right is obviously the actual person. The one's in the mirror image, if I'm right.
Should we play that again?
Of course. You just see the eye. Just go, it's really weird.
And there's this little sinister smirk.
That is definitely... So the one, like I said, so one on the right is obviously the actual person.
The left is the mirror.
Yep. That is absolutely creepy.
Yeah, the last one is the one you really get it.
Yeah, it's the eye is just really, it's just weird.
And then there's this little smirk.
Now, we've actually got 3 people think they know the password. So first one's from Gran Torino, thinks it is called cheese balls.
It's not cheese balls.
It's not. Now
I have to ask you a question. Do you like the puffy cheese balls or the crunchy cheese balls?
I like both. I'm not gonna lie.
But if I had to put a gun to your head and you had to pick one, which one you pick?
The puff ones.
Okay.
Now
I like you, the piss.
he said aliens. I mean, that could be the password.
No, it's not the password.
Now, of course, I knew this guy wouldn't let me down. Mr. Graham knows it, of course. Bosco.
Maybe I should drink some Bosco on the show and they'll figure it out. If I'm drinking the Bosco, they'll know right away.
Of course. Joseph Graham says they are twins. That is a possibility. I didn't think about that.
And maybe it's just a piece of glass.
Could be. Could be. And of course, Gran Torino now gets it.
Oh, look at you got it.
How did you know? So, yeah, I mean,
you figured that out.
now that is a weird video, but now when somebody says twins, you can kind of see twins, but I don't think that's what it is.
I don't think so, but what if it's just some sort of weird CGI?
I mean, that's, yeah, because obviously the technology now is obviously so advanced, you can really easily debunk a video. We see them all the time.
I don't like to debunk the videos. I like to bunk them.
Okay.
If you're not debunking, then you're bunking them.
There you go. There you go. So, yeah. Anything else?
We got one more thing in there. Hey, look, a cheese doodle. How about that?
Here we go.
All right, so this is really weird. He opens the door. The lights start flashing. And he's upset. He knows there's something there. So he sets up the camera. And all of a sudden, the door opens. And he's yelling at the thing that needs to leave. Get out of my house. Stop doing this.
Did you see the shadow, obviously, after the doors open? There? You see it?
Yes. We're going to show it in slow motion now.
You see the shadow there?
You see it climbing the stairs. That's freaking creepy.
And then it disappears. That is.
Here's show one more time, even more. Even slower. Watch it. It looks like he's even wearing a suit and tie.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed. And then if you lifts up like in a buff of smoke and just disappears.
That last little part was the creepiest because he looks like he's an old man wearing a suit or something.
Yeah, like I said, that is absolutely bonkers. Aliens. Gran Torino, we know it's not aliens. It's probably a ghost.
Why would it be aliens? Why? Well, we thought we'd play the role of the ghost. Since the ghost could not be on the show today, we are playing the role of the ghost.
Mr. Graham said that looks like a classic Hollywood alien. Possibly. Shall we play it again?
How is that an alien?
Shall I play it again?
Yes. Well, I want to see why they think it's an alien.
So he obviously goes there. He turns the light on. Yeah, obviously it flickers. Shuts the door. Now, obviously, the door opens. And if you look to the right, you see the actual shadow. That's the first thing I noticed.
You get it better when you goes in slow mo a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. It's just absolute creepy. Do you know, the more you zoom in.
Slowly just climbing those stairs. So creepy.
What the hell?
I can see how they think it's an alien sort of creature.
Yeah, I don't. But if you notice, it like disappears like a puff of
But
smoke.
as you see the jacket, the suit jacket right at the end.
Mr. Graham says the shadow looks like it. This video is scary.
This video
And
makes me want to call my mom.
reminds me of Sins, possibly,
Oh, Signs, yeah.
and super skinny arms. That, I mean, we've
Well,
obviously.
I imagine there wouldn't be a lot of weight on a shadow figure, would there?
But now,
You wouldn't see no fat shadow figures, right? That shadow figure is
got a bit of
eating
weight
way too much. He needs to be on a diet. You know, there's no such thing as a fat ghost.
There is not. I've never seen one, so I can't.
Any ghosts you see, they're skinny because obviously in the afterlife you don't got to be fat no more.
Yeah, that is true. So
Either that or you're just really hungry in the afterlife. And you're like, I'm so hungry. That's why you're in everyone's houses. You're looking for some snacks. You guys got any snacks?
I've just got the image now of obviously a ghost just hopping in a fridge going, there's nothing in here.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Look at me, I'm skin and bones.
Literally. That's brilliant. Right then, so shall we strap in? Let's go around the galaxy.
All right, so before I let you take over the controls, I gotta do something.
Okay.
Strap in your seatbelts, because we're going all the way around the effing galaxy. Woo! And we're
This is your captain speaking. I'd like to welcome you aboard this paranormal flight. The duration will be 20 minutes exactly, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Hey.
That.
You did that really good, but you should do a loop-to-loop.
Yeah, but last time we did that, you lost your license for a few weeks.
Well, you're only doing it a week. I don't like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we've got 20 minutes, so
well, maybe at the end you could do a loop-to-loop.
Yeah. So this is obviously part of the show where we take a deep dive into the wrestling world. What's been going off over the past week or so? So there's obviously a lot of like articles coming out about certain stuff, and one which caught my eye, and I'm curious to get your opinion on this, was Becky Lynch said that she didn't enjoy her time in WWE NXT. What do you think?
Well, that's interesting because, like, I noticed she was pretty entertaining in NXT, wasn't she?
Well, she went on to say, I didn't know that I ever felt comfortable in NXT. From the moment I got on Raw, I felt way more comfortable than I ever did in NXT. I think a lot of that was I was always on the chopping block. Which, when you think about it, I mean, obviously we see a lot of NXT wrestlers come and go.
Yeah, this kind of thing with NXT. If you're not in the main event, you're almost out the door.
That is true, but
so I understand from that perspective. Like, you're either really good or you're this close to getting fired.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you watch Becky Lynch's NXT run, it was pretty decent. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't bad. It wasn't.
But obviously, no one gave her any guarantees that she's, you know, don't worry, you're doing awesome. We love you. Don't worry, you're going to be a big star. Obviously, she wasn't getting that.
Yeah, and do you think there's obviously going to be a lot of wrestlers in NXT in that same mindset?
I think so, because like there's just this constant fear. Like I'm almost there, but I could lose it at any second.
Yeah, I kind of get that. It kind of makes sense, but I just saw the article and I'm thinking, really? I mean,
I have a question for you, Liam.
Okay.
So we're always taking a deep dive in the vault. We're taking a deep dive on the news. We're
Mhm.
taking a deep dive on story time. Can we just take regular dives sometimes?
You can do if you want. Yeah. I mean, next one, obviously, I've got for this is WWE remains hopeful to have Drew McIntyre back on TV shortly. Now, obviously, there's been many reports. Obviously, Drew's done with obviously WWE. He could be going to AEW, but when you think about it in the long run, is Drew really more fitting to WWE?
The thing is, they got to guarantee him something for his story because you have a number of years where you can make a lot of money and be a lot famous. You can move on to do other things like Hollywood and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't do your story well and they don't let you be a star to the level that you want to be a star, then you're like, well, I could do this somewhere else. So they have to give him what he wants. He's kind of got the advantage, especially with the AEW being next door.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, let's say obviously Drew does go back to WWE. To me, I don't see him being a main eventer at the moment. We obviously the roster they've got.
Well, they have to.
Yeah, I mean,
because if they don't, maybe he's not going to sign. You know, especially if they renege, he's gonna, you got to put in writing what they're going to give him creatively.
Yeah, I mean, but I think until obviously all in happens, I feel this is just going to be one of those things where we'll see when he pops up. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, like if Tony gets a chance to sign him, he's going to promise him like a title run or big matches here, like like gets to work with CM Punk or something like that. I don't know, but you're gonna promise him the moon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that for me personally, I feel like he fits in WWE more. I feel like he'd go to AEW and he'd be like he'd do so well so far on the main roster, but then slowly go down the pecking order.
Well, yeah, you got to think of like, that's just how it is. You're either the top guy or you're not. But that's the thing. You gotta promise these guys that when you sign them, or you're not gonna get them.
Yep. Gran Torino says, I feel Drew proved he can succeed outside of their company. That is actually true because if you go back and watch his Impact days, he's pretty good. Do you know what I mean?
But I think that WWE will sign him back. They just got to promise him what he wants. You got to give him what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, not really much you can say on that until obviously we see where he turns back up. But
well, it's easy. You just got to give him let him beat Seth Rollins.
But here's the thing: do we see him beating Seth Rollins?
He's a much bigger star.
I don't dispute the fact he's a bigger star, but when it comes to WWE, star quality doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at the Cody.
The Cody's gonna win. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. WrestleMania, he's gonna win. What's our bet again? What is our bet for this? Is there shirts in our store?
Yes, 3 shirts.
3 shirts. What those 2?
I'm going to up with quality. I'm not confident he's not going to win the belt at WrestleMania.
I'm getting 3 shirts. Wow, that's awesome.
Right, we'll move along, obviously, to AEW. And the Elite have been asked to stay quiet about their contract status with the AEW. I mean, one, this is kind of like a 2-part question. First one is why, and 2, do we see him actually leaving in the long run?
Honestly, if the Bucks and Hangman left,
yep,
I don't think it would be that bad.
Okay.
Because Hangman would hurt. I mean, not Hangman. Omega would hurt.
Yep.
Losing Omega would hurt. But honestly, I think you could lose the Bucks and Hangman and still be okay.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, we obviously AEW is the roster's really, really stacked now. You've got some big names, obviously. There you've got Jay White as a prime example, John Moxley, Jericho's obviously still up there, and even like MGF, like the youngsters who are obviously coming through. So there's still that great range of wrestlers.
But I see them resigning. They don't want to lose. I feel like they were pushed out of their own company by Castle and CM Punk.
Yeah, I mean, what can we see? I mean, but there's no obviously thing where when their contract actually ends, so we shall definitely see on that one. Speaking of obviously contracts, Fuego del Sol's obviously contract ends on the 1st of July. This is pretty sad because I felt like it was so entertaining, but it was just kind of got like shoved down the pecking order again.
Oh, Fuego del Sol. I feel like when you're not from Mexico, like he's an American.
Yeah.
Like the mask is dumb.
Right.
Because where's he from? Can you look that up?
Yeah, I'll have a look at that while you're talking, yeah.
Yeah, he's from I think he's some place like Montana or something. I don't know. But he's not from southern United States at all. But yeah, like lose the mask. You can give it a little bit of personality. Then you get maybe a little bit of muscle tone on you.
It is US.
Huh?
It is US.
Yeah, what state though?
It is Alabama.
Alabama. Luchador from Alabama. Dude, there's so much better he could have done with this character than Fuego del Sol.
Yeah. I mean, but
it's like, could you picture Orange Cassidy getting over as the Fire Ant from the start?
I don't know. That's what I'm not actually sure about.
Like, he could come back now as the Fire Ant for a one-off, and it would be big.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But to start, when AEW started and he was the Fire Ant, he wouldn't be at his level right now.
No, that is true. I mean, but yeah, it's kind of sad, but of course, I feel like this is only the beginning. So we've got one more story, and this is obviously a big one to discuss, which is top AEW star sees issues between CM Punk and the Elite as a ticking time bomb. Of course, I think he's going to be in
now. This is Meltzer, right?
That is true.
Pinch of salt, guys. Pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt. Now, obviously, Punk made his return back to AEW Dynamite this week, but Tony Khan decided not to have the Elite there to appear on the show. Is this just really keeping the distance, or is there something generally behind the scenes with this?
Here's something I want to bring up. So, this wrestler from AEW says it's a ticking time bomb.
Yep.
An unknown wrestler.
Yep, it's yet to be named, so it could be anybody.
So, it makes me wonder about wrestling journalism.
Especially Meltzer.
Like, journalism would mostly be off the record if you're not naming the name. You don't see this in like regular news. An unnamed White House official, blah blah blah. Like, you don't see it unless it's like this, because you can't post. Because then it's just like, if you don't have a name attached to it, it's not newsworthy.
But if you put like unnamed, then it makes people like clicks and stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, what I'm saying. It's just kind of like, okay, so this could be real or bogus.
Yeah. I mean, is this just like still Dave Meltzer just trying to get like attention, or is it just
about the off the record rules, right?
That's correct. Yep.
So this almost to me sounds like he gets people off the record.
Yep.
Saying something, but still uses the quote because I'm not saying who said it.
I just saying somebody said it. That's it.
No, but I'm saying you're off the record, so you can't say that.
Yep.
You can't even say that what they said, even you're not saying their name. You still can't say it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think it's fishy.
I think the thing is, when something comes out with obviously Dave Meltzer, and when we've said this many times on the show, or even on obviously your show as well, is you take it with a pinch of salt because 9 times out of 10 it's normally bullcrap.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of credibility over the years. Like, you guys got Sean Ross Sapp. He's really credible.
Mhm.
Who else? Who else we got? I don't like
Fight.
Kelly.
Yeah, Meltzer's just one of the most annoying ones.
And I'm sure there's someone else. Zarian, I think is one of them.
Yeah. Fightful's terrible.
Fightful has some good stuff.
Mr. Graham says, I think people are intentionally feeding Meltzer bad info. I mean,
I think that's true.
that is a possibility.
Yeah, like if you would like watch this, we're gonna hear our own little quote next week. Just laughing your ass off.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a follow-up question to this is: are you actually sick and tired of all this punk BS? Truthfully.
Well, he did unload that pipe bomb last thing about the counterfeit bucks.
Yeah, and I think the thing is people need to realize is obviously the elite were obviously poking fun as well, so it's kind of like Punk retaliating. You've got to think that he was off TV for what, 9 months?
Yeah, and it's very divisive. Like, you get a Punk guy and you get the elite guys. Like, there's very few that are both.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sick and tired of all this crap now. It's like, yeah, just get on with it, man. It's like you're really boring me. Let's be honest. So
the Owen Hart tournament is kicking off tonight.
It is. There is obviously. I can't remember. I've seen Collision, but I've only seen it briefly.
Tonight, Rampage.
Yes, that's what I mean. I know there's a couple of matches, and
the one tonight is Sky Blue versus Anna Jay is one of the matches in the first round, and you got a big match on Forbidden Door with CM Punk. And I don't know the gentleman's name. If you guys could tell me who the guy he's against, the Japanese fellow.
Is it Shota Umino? Or is that someone else?
Anyways, guys, let us know who he is, and we'll move on.
The surprising thing, obviously, with the Owen Hart thing is Britt Baker's not in it, and neither is Cole.
Well, they don't need to win it again. Give it.
That's the name, by the way, just to help you out.
Satoshi Kojima.
I mean, I'm kind of gutted it's not Kenta, but I mean, probably more stuff behind the scenes with that.
My theory on the Kenta thing is that Punk doesn't think that it would be safe to wrestle him. That's what I was thinking.
Really? Why not? It's because they've been bullshitting each other that much?
Well, I don't know if there's real heat between the two.
Well, there's only way to find it out. Do you know what I mean?
That's why I think he's not wrestling, because he's like, I don't want to wrestle a guy. Like, I'm not going to feel safe. He's mad I'm using his move. He's going to hurt me.
Yeah, I mean, but overall, I mean, there is actually some great matches on this Forbidden Door. I feel like it will be just as good as the first one.
Do you think CM Punk will win the Owen Hart belt?
Yeah, I mean, who else is there really on the card? Who actually stands out?
I like CM Punk winning for one reason, that he is a fan.
Yeah?
Like Britt Baker didn't know Owen Hart.
Neither did Cole?
Yeah, I don't know if he did or not, but you need a fan winning it. Like, CM Punk was a fan.
Yeah, so it kind of makes sense. I mean, obviously, as regards to the women, I don't really know if any of them is actually a fan of Owen Hart, but I still think it'd be an interesting one.
Julie Hart should win.
Yeah, based on the name value.
Yes, my uncle. Whatever, just like for claim relative status.
So right then, so that wraps up the Galaxy news. So before we get into our main event, we've got to say thank you to. It's a sponsor, and the name always kind of confuses me. Who is it?
It's Debbie.
Boop.
Now you can use code Effin Wrestling to get 10% off your whole order, and there's no maltodextrins, there's no sugar, there's no dyes. The neat thing about this energy drink is it is jitter free. Look at no jitters. See, no jitters. So yeah, order your W today and enter code Effin Wrestling, www.w.gg and tell them Effing Wrestling sent you.
That is correct. So that's www.w.gg. Use the promo code Effing Wrestling for 10% off your order. And as Canada Dry says, let them know we sent you.
Yes.
Right then, so we've done everything else. So it's time for probably our favorite part of the show, and it's story time. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Oh, for a split second there, I thought we were doing Knowledge is Power already.
Yeah. We were just peeking our heads out. Nothing wrong with peeking your heads out.
So our main event is, of course, the story of Travis Walton. Now, as we mentioned, obviously in the introduction, this is obviously one of the world famous one in a sense.
It is
correct?
very, very famous because there's so much going on with this story.
That is true. So basically, today we're going to be discussing the whole story. We've got quite a lot of information to get through. So, Canada Dry, take it away.
All right. So this all went down on November 5th, 1975. Travis was 22 years old at the time, and he worked for the American Forestry Association. His buddy Mike, his best friend Mike, got a contract, and he'd been doing it for 9 years. And so he'd created quite a nice little business for himself. The town that they're in Snowflake, Arizona. Now, I don't know if this is why everyone's called snowflakes because of this story. You're nothing but a snowflake. But it's funny enough that the town this is a small little town, nothing really going on.
Mm-hmm.
But Travis had lived here his whole life. And the funny thing is that the way the name of the town got its name, it's funny. Erasmus Snow and Willow Flake got together and decided to combine their names to make the town of Snowflake.
That is like the most weirdest thing ever to actually name a town.
Yes, well, it's the fact that two guys named Snow and Flake got together to name a town. Hey, you're Snow, I'm Flake. We both get made fun of. Let's make our town. So as I was saying earlier, Mike Rogers was his bestie, and he gave his buddy a job. Now, they weren't only just besties. Mike's sister was dating Travis, and they were soon to be married.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a lucrative contract in Apache National Park.
Okay.
Which is just a little ways out of away from Snowflake, and they had to clear a lot of the grown out brush, and it was a lucrative contract. But the problem is they were behind.
Okay.
They needed this ready for the summer for people to be going out there and checking out the forest and the parks. So he got 7 of some good friends and good workers that he knew. I guess his best friend himself.
Mm-hmm.
He got Ken Pedersen, John Goulet, Steve Pierce, and Alan Dallas and Dwayne Smith. So if you show the picture of the guys there. Looking all 70s up, they're like do. Like they're gonna do disco dance before they cut the wood.
It looks like an old school boy band.
Yes, it's like we're the loggers. So
moving on,
moving quite along. So the thing is that they were there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long shift
Oh, absolutely.
and doing hard work. But they needed to do this done, and they was getting a lot of money, and they were getting the overtime and all that stuff. And Mike was paying them well.
Yeah.
So they're wrapping up, and they're getting ready to go home. Everyone's kind of putting their gear away, and as always, Mike gets everyone in his crew cab and drives them through his pickup truck back to their houses. So as they're going back, they see these lights in the woods, and
Okay.
first they think it's fire.
Right.
They're like, "Oh my goodness, there's a fire in the woods," and as they're driving along, they realize that there's no smoke. Like, when you have a fire, you're going to smell smoke in the vehicle, right? And they're like, "No, it can't be a fire. There's no smoke." As they get closer, they all see it. This strange disc-like object with all these lights. And it's just there. And so Mike stops the vehicle.
Yeah.
And Travis gets out. And Travis is in a trance-like state all of a sudden. And he starts walking slowly towards the craft. Were you going to say something?
So it's like in like a trance thing. He's just literally in a world of his own. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's not like in a literal trance, but he's just staring at it because the guys are all yelling at him. "You need to come back, get over here!" And he's just ignoring them. He's walking slowly towards it.
Okay.
And then the spaceship begins to make a sort of like a strange sound, and it starts sort of like kind of like a turbine on an airplane or something. Mm-hmm. Making a strange sort of turbine sound. And the ship kind of rocks like this, and Travis suddenly comes to his senses, and he runs behind a log and dives behind this log.
Yep.
And he's lying there for a few seconds, and he decides to get up and run. But as he gets up and run, this blue-green light just comes from the ship and lifts him off the ground with this shocking power and kind of tosses him aside.
Okay.
And when this happens, Mike and the gang, they take off in fear. They just drive away.
Wait, so they're just leaving behind?
They screw up and they freak out and they drive off. They don't get too far down the road when Mike realizes that this is my best friend.
Yeah.
And he tells everyone like, we need to go back. And everyone's arguing for a bit because they're all scared. And all of a sudden they see in the rearview mirror, they see the space or the UFO fly off into nothingness. It just disappears. All of a sudden, everyone's brave again. Yeah, let's go back for him. Look, it's gone. Anyway, they turn around and they go back looking for their friend. And he's not there. They look everywhere.
Right.
This UFO that they were talking about, it was about 8 feet thick and 20 feet wide.
Yep. And
when Travis got out of the car, it was about 100 feet from them.
Okay, so
and so they're looking all around. He's not there. They're getting him very emotional, and so they decide that they're gonna call the sheriff's office, and Deputy Chuck Elson meets them at the mall.
Yep.
So they're sitting down, and some of the boys are crying because of
Yep.
what they saw. And Chuck Elson, he has his doubts about their strange story about the UFO abducting their friend. But he said this. He said, if they were acting, they were awfully good at it.
But even then, they obviously still got the doubts, which you've just mentioned there.
So they then call in the boss, Marlon Gillespie, and so they all go back except for a couple boys. They go home because they're so distraught and upset they can't do anything. They just want to get home, and they're probably tired by now too, right?
Yep.
Well, so they do another search. The police begin to, but they don't find anything. They don't find no evidence of a UFO flinging a guy with a beam and landing on the ground. They don't find any of that. But they also don't find any evidence of foul play because they begin to suspect that they murdered their friend, or he was in an accident and they got afraid and covered it up.
So all this like raised suspicion, like of it out if it was legit or not.
Yeah, because it's just an outrageous story.
Yeah.
But as the police investigated, they brought helicopters, horses, and jeeps to the area, just scouring the Apache park there.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't find anything. So they begin to investigate these 6 gentlemen. And through it all, they talk about the spaceship. It's cylinder, it's circular, it's smooth, all this kind of stuff. But the stories remain the same. Everyone's pretty consistent. When you have a lie like that, usually someone breaks down pretty quick because they can't keep the facts straight.
No, exactly.
Especially with 6 guys.
Yeah.
When you have 2, maybe you can pull it off. But the more people you add to this lie, that someone's going to get the story wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they all 6 have their stories completely airtight. They're exactly the same. So the police decide that they want them to take a polygraph.
Yep.
Now, a polygraph, interestingly enough, was invented by the creator of Wonder Woman.
Really?
Yes. The man who came up with the lasso of truth is the same guy who came up with the lie detector test. So he actually was interested in coming up with the real lasso of truth, which is the lie detector test.
And that is knowledge is power.
Yes. I just remember that as we were going. So everyone passes their test. They answer questions like, where's the body? Did you kill him? And they all passed. Did you see a UFO? Did the UFO take your friend? And they all passed, except for Alan Dallas, who did not finish the test. I imagine he got frustrated and upset through it and just like took it all off. He's like, I'm not doing this crap. So his test was inconclusive.
But even 5 out of the 6, though, when you think about it, it's still, do you know what I mean? Compelling.
Yeah, his 6 isn't like he can always come back and do it later because it's inconclusive. It's no lies in there. It's just inconclusive.
Exactly.
So do you want to make the tag now?
Of course. So obviously to kind of expand on obviously what kind of Dry just said there, after all these polygraph tests, they were able to basically be certain that 1, there was no foul play, and 2, that what they saw was actually legit. You know what I mean? So basically everything this kind of Dry said there, do you know what I mean? Everybody had the same story. If this was debunked or this was like a lie, somebody eventually would crack. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty much nailed on that one. So With this whole story, though, it obviously managed to grow international news. Do you know what I mean? It obviously got absolutely, throughout the entire thing. Now, obviously, skeptics and debunkers accused Travis of the crew of what was called a hoax. But unfortunately, there was no concrete evidence to present these claims. So people's calling it bull, but they're not backing it up. So it's still got the skeptical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you think about it in any like type of world, that's going to be the actual thing. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you obviously, I don't know if you were in your part or my part is, now, Travis's mother, Mary Collette, was calm when when informed her son's disappearance and asked if anyone other than the police had witnessed or heard the story, raising really more suspicion. So basically, his mother has obviously been informed, but she's acted really suspiciously. I mean, what do you think to that bit?
Well, I guess her calmness when her son is missing and might cause alarm bells, but she wasn't out there in the forest.
No, exactly. But it's just the fact that.
Well, maybe she was like, maybe the police thought she was covering up for the other boys. But why would you cover up your own son's death?
Yeah, I mean, it's what can you say? But I mean,
I guess as a police officer, you have to consider everyone a suspect until they're not.
that is true. I mean, the key thing, obviously, in police work is obviously the evidence-wise. Now, that's just obviously for another debate. But it wasn't until now. This is the weird part. Which what date was this? Now, can you just remind me what day it was?
This is November 5th. Are we talking about 5 days later?
That is yes. So November 11th, 1975, which is actually it says 5 days after his appearance. Surprisingly, Travis reappeared in a regular hospital, describing encounters with a non-human creature resembling small humanoids with large
Well, he
brown.
thought he was in the hospital.
Is that have I missed?
Yeah, he thought he was in the hospital, but he's actually he's recalling his time on the spaceship.
Now, I kind of try. You obviously know the description of obviously these aliens things. You want to just run through that really quick?
Okay, so he goes over what happened to him on the spaceship. Now, he wakes up and he thinks he's in a hospital room.
Mm-hmm.
And he realizes as the light's coming down on him, it's really bright, and he can't kind of make out what the figures are. He's thinking, I've been in an accident, I'm in the hospital or whatever. But he realizes that as they come closer, they're freaking aliens. Show what the alien looked like.
This one?
Yes, you got that. This is no doctor, right? You got a guy like this coming at you. You're going to freak out.
I think anybody would freak out.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So he gets up off the bed, and he grabs a cylinder that's there on the counter.
Yep.
They have counters on the spaceship. He grabs it. He's going to use it as a weapon on them. And they begin to slowly back up, and they all leave the room.
Yep.
And he decides that he's going to use this as a chance to escape.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes down the corridor,
mm-hmm.
and he finds this other room with this I guess like a Captain Kirk sort of chair.
Yeah.
So he sits in it, and there's some buttons there. He starts pushing them, and he doesn't know what it's going to do. He's thinking there's going to be a door open. He can jump out and land on the ground and be back with his buddies. But he sees a door open from behind him, and out comes this human figure in this space. Yeah, like that, but they got a helmet on. Mm-hmm. And he's talking to him. He's yelling at him. What's going on? Like, is he thinking they're human, right?
Yes. So apparently, obviously, this is obviously on the spaceship. There was two types of aliens. Is that correct?
Yeah. So he's yelling at him and telling him, like, where am I? How are we going to get out of here? And the guy grabs his arm, very strong, by the way,
mm-hmm.
and just kind of walks him down the corridor, and then into this hangar.
I can just imagine this, like, where he's like being really angry. Ah, come on.
Yeah,
Be angry.
yeah. Well, no, he's not saying anything. He's just grabbing him and pulling him along. He's not even responding.
Mhm.
So he gets to this room, and the picture I showed you was meant to be go now.
Which one?
This one here.
That one?
No, the other one.
That one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what they see in the hangar. These guys are here, and he sees them dressed like this, and he tries to talk to them again, and one of them puts the mask over his face.
Yeah.
And he tries to struggle, but they're really strong, and they put him on some sort of operating table.
It's like a gas mask, weren't it? Is that right?
And he wakes up on the highway and sees this flying saucer above him taking off. And then I'll let you continue the story.
Yeah, absolutely. So eventually was found near a gas station, which actually really was found by his actual brother, which is really creepy. Do you know
Well,
what I mean?
he made a phone call
Mhm.
on the thing, and he called his father, and his father didn't believe him at first that it was him, and he said, "No, it's me, Dad." And they picked up the brother, and they went to the phone booth to go get him.
Yep, absolutely. So I want to obviously expand on obviously the people thinking it's a hoax. Now something aired 2 weeks before this, in 1961, which was Susan Clancy argued that the incident was influenced by the movie known as The Alien Abduction of Betty and Barney Hill. I mean, is this more coincidence or is this more just?
Yeah, this was on two. I guess that's when it's filmed, but when it's aired on TV, it was 2 weeks before this went down.
Mm-hmm.
And the Betty and Barney Hill case is very famous as well.
Mm-hmm.
So these two are the two most famous stories.
So is obviously the Betty one's before this, right? If I remember
Yeah.
rightly.
Yes.
So, and obviously this obviously caused a lot of obviously controversy. Even now to this day, there's so many disputes about this. Is it a hoax?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of the people, you got newspapers and different media coming around, and they gave all 7 of the people involved a check for $5,000.
Yeah.
And they said that this is the best UFO case of the year. I was like, I think you undersold it there.
There you go. So the only other thing which obviously Travis needed to do was take obviously a polygraph test. Obviously, with 6 of them, obviously took the test. 5 of them obviously, passed it with flying colours. One of them at the time, I think it was still inconclusive. If I remember rightly on that one.
Yes.
Now, obviously, the only person left to do it was obviously Travis. Now, Travis faced the exactly same questions, everything he said, and lo and behold, on both occasions, he obviously passed it with flying colours. But a lot of people still believe that when it comes to polygraph tests, you can easily manipulate them. If that's, I don't know much about that, but that's obviously the theory of what people think.
I think it's hard to fool a polygraph.
So yeah, that's everything I've got on that. But what do we think overall with this?
Oh, it's definitely a weird, wild story. Especially the other thing I wanted to mention was that he didn't remember being on the spacecraft right away.
Mm-hmm.
He remembered being in the forest, and then he remembered waking up on the highway. It wasn't until much later that with regressive hypnosis therapy that he was able to remember these things in the doctor's office.
Yeah, can you?
That's also how Benny and Barney Hill remembered them.
Oh, okay. So this kind of leads back to what Susan Clancy said, where you've got similarities between this story and this story. Was that correct?
Yeah, and I think this was said a few times that careful what you put a fascination with, because they'll show up.
Yeah,
they were fascinated with the UFO stories.
Exactly, and
Travis really was.
And it's still obviously talked about to this day. And as you mentioned, obviously in the intro as well, there's a movie about this. So, if you want the full story and what we've obviously covered today, is go watch that actual movie.
Yeah, it's Fire in the Sky, but you can also look on Discovery Plus, and there's a good shock doc on this. It's just called the Travis Walton Alien Abduction, and you can get a good story on that as well. So it's closer to the truth than the Hollywood one, because
Yeah.
Hollywood's gonna embellish it a bit for sell a few tickets.
Oh, definitely. And the thing is with this story as well is obviously now we've covered it is there's so many theories, there's so many like things you can debunk. I mean, it's kind of challenging trying to like separate it from obviously people thinking it's a hoax from people thinking it's true. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one because they were talking about the shape of the flying saucer or the disc. They're saying it was 8 feet 8 feet thick and 20 feet wide. From his experience on the ship, it seemed like it was bigger than that.
Maybe it's like Doctor Who. Maybe it's bigger on the inside.
I've actually heard things about that when you go in a spaceship, it actually is bigger in this. Like if you go in a UFO, it actually is much bigger inside than it is on the outside.
Yeah, so even though it looks like so small, obviously on the outside, when you go inside it, you're like, oh, it's a house.
What if you shrank when you go in? They shrink you, so that's why it's bigger.
Possibly. I mean, you never actually know with that one.
Yeah, you don't know what your size is when you get pulled up. They can shrink you down when they're pulling you up.
1 minute I'm 6'4", I'm on a spaceship, I'm 3'2".
So these aliens are actually even smaller. So it's like, why are we scared of? Just step on them.
Oh dear. Right then. So, shall we get into knowledge is power? Or...
Yeah, I think we can wrap up this show with knowledge is power.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Would you like to go first?
I mean, I don't even know what to say. Do you know what I mean? There's so many theories with this one. It's so complex that I can't even give a knowledge power at the moment.
Do you want to try after I do it?
I'll give it a try, yeah.
Okay. So, children, come close. So, your uncle is telling you a story about how he was abducted by aliens, and you realize that he smokes a lot of the juju. He smokes a lot of the juju. Find out why he's smoking the juju. Maybe it's because he was abducted, or maybe he remembers it differently because he was smoking the juju.
I don't even know. The word juju just makes me laugh.
I just made it up. That's a new word for smoking the reefer, the juju. You want some juju?
No. Right, I'll give it a go. Right, kids, right? You know what I mean? You're out and about, obviously, with your friends, and you're working on, obviously, you're like a farm and stuff like that. And you see a nice little light, and one of the guys wants to go and investigate. You know, typical things, like the curiosity always gets you better of you. Whatever you do you know what I mean? Don't run away. Do you know what I mean? Stand with that actual friend. Do you know what I mean? Save that friend. Pull him back if you have to, because you never know. It could you know what I mean? It could go disappearing for 5 days, come back. Do you know what I mean? It's either like a ocean thing. You never know. But the problem is, you never know, because friendship obviously lasts forever. So that is best. My knowledge is best power.
And then they got $5,000 for leaving their friend.
So what's
Here's
my
$5,000 for leaving your friend? There you go. Everyone wins.
And that is, of course, my knowledge is power. So, what we got lined up for the rest of the week? What's going on Sunday?
We are doing our Forbidden Door prediction show.
Sweet. Obviously, Forbidden Doors, obviously, on Sunday as well. And tomorrow, we are obviously doing on the Magical Wrestling. We're doing highs and lows of some guy. I mean, it's some guy called Shawn Michaels. I'm not sure you might know him.
I think they're the guy. I think he's like the slow stopper or something. The slow stopper.
The slow stopper.
He stops slow people.
The Deadly Draw. Don't know what the hell he's referring to there.
The Deadly Draw is AFW.
Oh, okay.
So we're having the AFW Prediction League, and we're gonna find out who our partners are. We don't know. It's kind of like with what they're doing in AEW at the same time.
Oh, this is interesting. I can't wait for that. So yeah,
I know who they're teaming you with.
As long as it's not Haney.
Well, he's in your faction, so
yeah, only because he is. That's it. End of discussion.
You're still not getting along with the Haney.
No, I don't think I ever will.
And then, of course, on Saturday night, we also have Collision After Dark. We have a lot of fun on that.
We do. So
yes.
now, if you think about it now, we've got shows on Wednesday, the occasional Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2 shows, and Sunday. Do you know what I mean? We're actually jam-packed.
We are jammed packed more than tuna in a tuna can.
Dear. So if you want to obviously find us all on social media, you can head to effingwrestling.com. Every single one of our social media is on there. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. We're even actually on Twitch now as well, by the way. So
yes, we have our Twitch account that Jeremy Isaacs runs, and you can game along with him. And when Fight Forever is, me and him are going to have a death barbed wire match if it's crossplay.
Ooh, exciting!
We're gonna stream a death barbed wire match.
Of course. And if you want a shirt, you can head to prowrestlingtees.com/effing wrestling. You can buy yourself the All Effing Wrestling shirt, which is obviously modeled by a good friend of the show, Natalia Markova. Sorry, I'm turning sideways there, by the way. And there's actually, when you think about it, there's absolutely loads of designs for t-shirts, right?
Yes. And of course, if you are a fan of old school wrestling, you can buy this shirt. This is adorable Adrian Dust. It's not really Dark Side of the Ring on there. I'm just a feature that he's going to be on an episode of Dark Side of the Ring coming up, and we're excited about that. And you can go to Pro Wrestling Tees /Adrian Adonis.
And stay tuned because we've got something very, very special coming up. Stay tuned. It's a nice little shirt design. I've seen it. It's brilliant. Stay tuned.
It's not our shirt, but it's someone else's shirt.
That's all we're going to say. Stay tuned for that. It's coming soon, and it's a great design.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
I am. So I think that's covered everything. Any final words?
Sometimes in life, it's not always easy. Sometimes the road is rocky and you fall down. You pick yourself up and you remember to just keep fighting.
I have a bone to pick with you, sir.
Which one do you want? I've got loads.
Oh, do you have any barbecue sauce?
No. What do you want?
I didn't think you would pay attention to me. I didn't really plan this to go this far. I know. I don't have any say around here. I want some pull.
You don't have any say around here?
No, I just do the intro, I do the end, and then you get the hell out of here. I want some say.
Okay, so do you want some say?
Yeah.
How's about then, next week's show, you plan it. We'll not say anything. We'll let you plan it. You can do it your own way, and we'll just follow your lead. How's that?
Oh, this is exciting. Let's stay tuned next week to find out what I come up with.